Welcome back. The travel nightmare continues with another 2,800 flights canceled Tuesday, and today's number are just topping 1,000 from the latest news that Delta Airlines is going to be canceling another 250 flights today. And we want to talk about all of it with our next guest, Mike Boyd, president of Boyd Group International. And Mike, I got your notes here, and something interesting. This isn't as bad as it could have been. We saw some meltdowns earlier in the year, but it looks like airlines are a little bit nimbler this time. Can you break it down for us?
Well, it's a controlled meltdown, put it that way. When a computer goes down, you don't know what's going to happen. But here, they know where they're going to be short pretty much ahead of time, and then they have to adjust for it. That's a little bit easier on the customer than finding themselves, diverted to Spokane for 6 hours. So it's a little bit better. But hey, if you want to go see grandma, this still isn't very good.
So what happens? When do you think that these sort of pressures will alleviate themselves? In time for New Year's, because we're sort of 5-6 days in and people are just stranded still?
Well, you saw where airlines are canceling flights for tomorrow. So they're planning for it to minimize the damage. A lot of people are getting emails right now today from airlines saying, oh, by the way, your flight on Saturday has been changed to Tuesday, things like that. But the real issue here is this fear of this new strain, if you will. But the good news is it's like the NFL. Somebody's out with COVID, and 2 Monday nights later, they're back on the defensive line. So I think this might boil over a little bit more quickly than we think, but maybe not by this weekend.
And looking ahead to 2022, where are we seeing the anticipated passenger occupancy levels versus 2019, probably the better comparison here?
Yeah, well, here's what's happened. There's a total change in the air transportation system, which means we're projecting that in 2022, we'll have about 880 million enplanements at airports. That's down from 980, but it's up from 100 or 630. The real issue is airlines are adjusting their capacity downward. Major network airlines like Delta, United, yes, Southwest, American, they're going to be at about 90% of the capacity they were in 2019. While these impulse airlines like Allegiant, Spirit, that are going after literally impulse vacation traffic, they're going to be up about 130% because it's a whole new world. I think, like the president of Frontier Airlines said, a lot of people are just burned out with COVID and they're going to get on an airplane and take a vacation. And that's going to be a positive thing.
Now, the CDC, recently changed their isolation guidelines. That was something that airlines had been pushing for after they amended, conditions for healthcare workers to be able to return to work. So how much does this alleviate the problem? Because isn't there still just a dearth of staff available to work and not enough pilots that need to be trained?
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, there isn't a lot of shall we say, padding, if you will, in terms of pilots on relief. There isn't, for example, look, you and I can't go out to LAX today and throw bags or load bags because we don't have the training. There are things you have to do to train people for security and other things. So it's not a case of just hiring more people. It's a case of having trained people on staff. And when you get something where 5% of your flights have to be canceled, that's a mess. But when at least you can control where they're canceled, that makes a difference.
And we have to leave it there, but really appreciate your insights and time here. Mike Boyd, president of Boyd Group International.